For those of you newly arriving, as this was first Sunday, we had a little talk at 10:30, which sooner or later I believe will be online if you'd like to see it, kind of introduction to Buddhism, and talking about the importance of cultivating attention. And we have some very simple practices from our teacher in Tibet to help us remove ourselves from the hustle and bustle of our worldly concerns and find a place of ease and rest and luminosity in our own being, and we can just rest for a little while. And we're very grateful that we have at Dawn Mountain several senior students who take turns leading these Sunday practices. So we now turn to our Sunday 11 o'clock guided meditation, which Paolo is leading this morning. Thank you, Paolo.
Good morning and welcome. I would like to give you a little bit of a brief background on exactly what the two practices that we're doing are, just so we have a context as to what exactly we're doing. Meditation traditionally is just simply a way to find a object to focus on for prolonged periods of time and slowly train our minds to be able to hold attention on one particular object for a prolonged period of time, which, we could talk about hours of why that's beneficial in so many shapes, ways, or forms, not only in our spiritual life, but also in our day-to-day lives, even when we're working. Wouldn't it be great if we could pay attention to that? In life can really become much easier, and we can do much better at them and be more efficient once we have ability to pay attention for longer than a couple of seconds or maybe a couple of minutes. Traditionally, there's three ways to stabilize our attention. One would be on our breath and our bodies. The other one would be on a sound or a mantra, and the third would be on an image. And then we use those particular objects as the object of attention. The reality is that, especially in the beginning, when we try to pay attention to one particular object, pretty soon after we start doing that, our attention sort of goes away in a different direction. Oh, did I remember to buy toilet paper? Or, simple things like that. And that's normal, that's okay. You can't have water without being wet, right? So you can't have mind without thoughts. So don't judge yourself too much when you think about something else. The key here is to be able to come back over and over to that particular object of meditation. So today we'll use two different objects of meditation, and there's a particular reason why we've chosen these two. The first one will be our breath and our bodies. This is sort of a calm gathering, and it's really good for the practice on the day-to-day when we're sitting, to bring that up. The other aspect, the other object of meditation would use is mantra or sound, and this is a little bit more active, right? You're doing something, which is chanting a syllable. Even though it's not like you're not running around or playing football or whatever, we're still actively engaging in an activity which is chanting this mantra, and that starts to help us train a little bit into what it is that what does it feel like to be present in when we're doing actions, when we're interacting with others, or, say whatever you do in your day-to-day life, trying to get used to engaging, being present to our day-to-day life, because why wouldn't we want to be present? Why wouldn't we want to be here all the time? So I won't bore you too much with that anymore, and we'll just get started. Please come in and sit down.
Should you mention the book?
Oh, yes. Well, there's a book of name going around, just like I'm sure if you've ever gone to a church or a temple, we dedicate the merit of us coming here and practicing to all sentient beings. But in particular, people that might need a little bit of extra help and a little bit of just mentioning their names. We write their names down at the end of our practice. We dedicate our merit to them. And with that in mind, if you have the sheet, did we give out the sheets? Okay.
They'll come around if you raise your hand. Karen will give you.
I'll give you a minute to get those sheets out. I'll tell you a little bit about it. In Buddhism, as Anne was mentioning earlier, we try to practice for the benefit of not only ourselves but all sentient beings. So we'll just set an aspiration to, or a motivation of why we are coming here to sit down. And if you feel comfortable, please chant with us. If you don't, try to check in with yourself and see what's your motivation for this, and just keep that in mind. I think motivation is really important in our daily lives and why we do things. So we'll chant the 4 lines of aspiration. May all beings always have happiness and its causes. May all beings always be free of pain and its causes. May all beings always be pain-free and live happily. May no beings ever cling to those near nor spurn those far. And with that in our hearts, start to come into your breath. Just gently noticing the quality of it. Where is it? May you feel it in your nose. May you feel it in your chest. Can you invite it into more places in your body? Can you expand it into your belly? Opening up your rib cage. And as you become acquainted with your breath this morning, finding a comfortable seated position, whether you're on a chair or on a cushion, maybe moving around a little bit and finding something that's comfortable, where your spine is straight, both your sit bones are making contact with the ground, your support, yet allowing your spinal cord to stack upon one vertebra upon the other, so that it's a wakeful pose, but it's not something that's strainful or is going to start hurting in a couple of minutes. Here, imagining that there's a string on the top of your head, and it's pulling you up right from the middle of your skull. Your chin's tucking in a little bit, and you might even want to bring in your finger, bring it in a little bit. And once you've found this balanced pose, checking in with your body, maybe your shoulders and your jawline. And as you breathe in, inviting your breath into those areas of tension. And as you breathe out, letting go. As you let go of your tension, come back to your breath. Just gently putting your attention on that breath. Taking it one breath at a time. Again, for most of us, something would have probably already come up pretty quickly after we started meditating. That's okay. Just notice that that thought. Lightly touch it and notice it. And without any judgment, come back to your breath, our object of attention. It is not really our ability to not think that makes us good meditators, but our ability to notice when our attention has left, and without judgment coming back to the present moment. That is our breath. And if you're closing your eyes, I invite you to open them a little bit. When we meditate, we're not trying to block away the world, but we're trying to be present with it. We're trying to learn how to better show up and how to be more acceptant. So if you feel comfortable with it, I invite you to open your eyes. Now with your eyes open, there's a couple of things you can do that might help stabilize your attention a little bit more. If you feel like your mind is running a little wild, try to cast your gaze down 45 degrees. It is said that this will help you calm down and allow you to be less affected by continuous thoughts. On the other hand, if you're feeling sleepy and tired, casting your gaze a little bit towards the ceiling will help wake up your mind. And I invite you not to take my word for it, but to try it out on your own and see how it works for you. And now at your own pace, we'll chant the syllable hung. So just as your breath runs out, take a breath back in. Just chant along with all of us. Just gently noticing how that feels for you. If you want to be a little bit more elaborated, this is the syllable hung right here in front of me. And you can imagine it sitting at your heart, radiating a light, but that's not necessarily, just sounding the syllable will be enough. Without too much judgment, just check in with yourself, check in with your body. How do you feel? And then when you're ready, coming back to your breath as your focus. And in the spirit of what we were talking before with the first Sunday talk and a little bit of the motivation that we talked about earlier, I invite you to check in with yourself about what your motivation for coming to meditation is. That might shed a lot of light on, why you're here and what might make you keep coming back or keep meditating. So just check in with yourself. It might just be that you read an article about the benefits of meditation, how it brings stress relief. It might be that your friend convinced you to come along. Or it might be that you're seeking a deeper happiness. Maybe even that through the seeking of that deeper happiness within yourself, you realize that you can bring more happiness to others around you. The answer is really within you, and each of us will have different answers. Just check in. And then if your mind has run away into all sorts of different directions, gently, without judgment, bring it back to the breath. There's nothing to do right here except to be present with your breath. We'll do another round of chanting Hum at your own pace. Just tap in with that feeling in your body without any judgments. Just noticing how that was for you. And gently, as you're ready, bringing your attention back to your breath. Check in with yourself and see if some tension has crept up into your body. Maybe your shoulders are riding a little high. Maybe your jaw's a little tense. And as you breathe out, just letting go of that tension and bringing a fresh air of awareness. Doing our third and last session of chanting home for the day.
You turn Harvey's on, I can give Harvey mine. Oh. You turn Harvey?
Hi, my name is Anne. So when I'm meditating and I'm sitting in a cross-legged position, it starts to become uncomfortable, and usually one leg falls asleep. And I was wondering if the more you do this process, if that stops, or if this is just something I'm going to deal with, or if there's something I can do.
I think over time it does stop, and it's a matter of adjusting a little bit. You get used to it, and the Paulo.
Yeah. First, I would like to tell you, you're not alone in that. I think most of us struggle a little bit through that. So that's encouraging. The second part of it is that I think, the more we do it, the more our hips open. There's a couple of things you can do. Make sure that you're raising your seat a little bit so that your knees are underneath your hips. That helps a little bit with that. doing some gentle stretches like we did this morning in yoga should probably help a little bit. Finally, I would say that I don't, what it looks like externally is not so important as much as what it does internally to you, the ability to calm your mind and be present. So, if that means sit in your chair or your couch, be gentle with your body, be mindful of what it's telling you. This is not, we're not Indian yogis in the forest trying to do contortions. We're trying to meditate and make our lives better and not more painful.
Just to emphasize, the height of the cushion that supports you can be very significant and differs a lot from one person to another, so you might experiment with different heights. But you sit quite, it seems like you can sit, your knees are, so just raising yourself up might help quite a bit. And everything Paula said also, yeah.
Hi. Can you hear? Yeah. When you use I had never used the Om. Is it to use the same focus? It becomes your object of attention when you use the Om?
Exactly. And actually we're saying Hong, which might sound a lot like Om, but we're saying Hong, which is widely considered in these traditions to be a gathering sound. So just naturally by saying Hong, it helps to gather you. And then the sound and your mind, your attention, are kind of infused. And so you can have a sense of your mind and the sound expanding, just kind of effortlessly, without it's not a distracting thing. Your mind is just expanding along with the sound. So focusing on sound can be both a kind of rest and an expansion from focusing on breath. It's a different kind of focus. It's not visible, and it's also not like in one spot, right? Sound is diffuse. And mind also can expand very easily. So it's that kind of practice. Yeah.
Thank you.
Good morning. So I get relaxed and I feel like I'm fighting sleep. It's like, oh, this is very relaxing, and I felt like I was not with us. I think I was.
Yeah, there's a little story about a musician who came to the Buddha asking, I either go from being really relaxed and falling asleep or so tense that my mind won't stop, right? So the Buddha asked him, so what did you used to be before you were a monk, already knowing what the answer was? He was like, oh, well, I was a musician. I played the sitar. And the Buddha says, well, when do you get the best sound out of your instrument? When the strings are really tight? When they're really loose? And he's like, no, when they're just tight enough. So, and this is a play, and you're not going to get it right the first time. And after years and years of meditation, I still have the same problems, of over-relaxing and over-tensing. But it's a normal problem to have, and I guess what I would tell you is, there's a couple of techniques that help with when you get a little bit too sleepy. One of them, opening your eyes and turning your gaze slightly up, will help awaken the body. I also like to think that when I'm starting to get sleepy, as I breathe in, I'm bringing in wakefulness and cool air that vitalizes me. Unless I'm really tired, then that's not going to help. I'm just really tired, and you just have to acknowledge that sometimes our bodies are really tired. But but if you're just getting too relaxed, you try to, the in breath will wake you up. So focusing on that is good.
Breathe in light too, if that's easy for you to do. Just feel like some light is splashing inside everywhere. But as Paolo says, sometimes you need to rest, maybe you're really tired.
Anything else?
Certainly our hope, yeah, go ahead.
Yes, good morning. I'm coming from a temple that we did a lot of prostrations and a lot of every time we entered, we saluted. And I'm noticing here it's different. So I'm like, what is the protocol? Am I, before we entered, we had to prostrate. Before we left, we had to prostrate. So my question is, it's not really a question. I like it. I like this. I like the.
What do you like?
I like that it's more relaxed and, in my opinion, more human, more Western to us.
I see. Thank you very much for that question and that reflection. It's something we think about a lot. In our tradition also, in the Tibetan tradition, and in all Buddhist traditions, what you're describing is absolutely the custom to different ways like this, or full prostrations in some cases. So we're always thinking about we want people to feel welcome, and we also want to offer appropriate respect. So on Sundays, which is really our most maybe broadest community participation, you will see if you watch, some people go like this when they come in because that's our custom or their custom. On Tuesday nights, we actually bow down. And when we do, people who have decided that they want to practice really within a traditional context, definitely we do prostrations. Part of our daily practice can be doing 3 in the morning, 3 in the evening. But just as Paolo was at various moments saying much depends on you, we kind of want to give everyone freedom within being respectful. So I appreciate you bringing this up very much. Certainly a little like that is wonderful. And when we do more formal practice, we do more formal expressions of respect also. Does that answer you? So I'm glad you feel that it's something comfortable.
And I would just add that, the Buddha offered, well, the number I think is 84,000 teachings, but it's not necessarily a solid number. It just meant a lot. And the reasoning behind it was that, we're all different, and different things work for each one of us. So I think that in that sort of vein of what the Buddha really wanted to do is to find ways that benefit each and every single one of us. So for some of us, prostrations and even doing 100,000 of them is what is right for us and what works for us. For some people, that's just not in their wheelhouse, and that's okay. And hopefully, we're able to give a space here where the people who want to do 100,000 prostrations feel comfortable doing that, and the people who just want to sit and meditate and never have a religious interaction with any of this, they're okay with that. And we have space for all of that, where we can be a community and support each other in the places that we need.
And that's what I meant earlier, speaking about, we use the term life skills. To cultivate attention and so on, as we're doing here, kindness. These are things that we need as human beings, that our culture needs, our families need. So they're very, very important. And we very much encourage you to bring this practice home with you. It's simple. Your breath is always there. You know how to sound home. And it's actually, in its simplicity, it is a portal to really considerable depth and expansiveness for your own experience. And we very much invite you to bring it home as you can fit it into your schedules and let it grow with you. And that's really our aspiration. Yeah.
On that note, we'll dedicate our merit. I believe the book has gone around. Thank you very much. Would you like to read the names?
No, but I'd like to write some more. in it.
Okay. And Janet, would you like the candle, please? And we'll do our dedication on the sheet, and then our blessing. By this good may I swiftly once become a great guru, lead all beings, everyone, to reach to that airy ground. With all of you in mind, we light this lamp of clarity. May the glow of love, wisdom shine within us, everyone, till we all rise forth born in one enlightened mandala. We dedicate our merit to all sentient beings, but in particular this morning, we dedicate it to Stefano, Animals, Brandon, Dominique and Marta in Paris, Christy, Pat Mankings, Gabrielle Tran, Luke Reed, people of San Bernardino, Alex in the Bardo, Guy Creel, Mr. Flores, Kirby, Adam, April, Lucia, Liederger, Pucho, Gina, Camilla, Justin Wales, Courtney McGrone, Rebecca, Adam and Darcy, Hall, Nadia and Ellie, Claire, Barry Bardo and family, William Bardo and family. I'm not sure what this letter is. Oh, G. Standent? Huh? Oh, CPE. Okay, so it was just letters. David and family, Jackie and Kathleen, Dan, Dana and her grandparents, Patricia and her father, Bardo, Aaron Wernick, Sue Ella, Dominica, Lisa, Susie, Bro, Dolores Gonzalez, Lourdes Gonzalez, Betty, Wes, Gabby, Doug, Miles, Allie, my sister Anne, who has ailments, Jesus, who passed away, Marie, Owen, Derry, Pay family and Demia, Kathy K, Max Panzer, and Michelle Panzer, Pat McCain, recovery, Ellis Renner?
Elizabeth Breuer.
Elizabeth Renner, Stacy, and to all sentient beings. And we'll chant the syllable ah. And as we chant ah, we imagine light coming from us to everybody in this room and ourselves, to everybody in Houston, everybody in the world, and everybody in the universe, whatever that means for you. Ah. thank you very much for joining us. As you know, we're having our holiday sale, I guess.
Event.
We'll have some light lunch for you and some beautiful goods to purchase. And just a reminder that we're a non-for-profit. So, any donation or purchases you want to make with us, it's greatly appreciated to keep going, keep doing what we're doing here. And we have every first and third Tuesday of the month, we have teachings with Ann and Harvey. If you haven't attended that, I highly recommend it. They're very insightful. We're doing yoga, a community yoga class every Sunday at 9:30, although I believe we will not be here next weekend because neither myself nor Scott will be here. But other than that, we're usually here doing yoga before meditation, and it's really just a light practice to get ourselves stretched out before we sit for an hour. Second and fourth Tuesday, we get together at 7 to sort of do our own meditation practice as a group. It's very wonderful. Please join us. What am I missing?
Your holiday. When is your...
Oh, not this upcoming Tuesday, but the Tuesday afterwards, which would be the third Tuesday. It would be Claire teaching on...
surviving the holidays without going insane. Using mindfulness.
And that's a two-parter, or that's just the 13th?
That's
Is that Jan-
this coming Tuesday, and then in January there's like a mindful New Year's type of thing.
Which date in January?
The 5th?
The first Tuesday of
Yeah, the first
January.
Tuesday.
So the first Tuesday of January will be mindful resolutions in tune with the new year, and 13th of December will be surviving the holidays. Just what you need when you need it. Yes, there's a what?
Wisdom
The Wisdom
series.
series.
So December 30th?
No,
January
January.
30th.
You'll hear more about that. And there will be a retreat on February 19th, and we'll be celebrating the Tibetan New Year, Losar, the previous week. I don't remember exactly which day we're celebrating. Around February 9th is the Tibetan New Year, the Lunar New Year, and we will have a celebration then, and we'll keep you posted.
One additional announcement, and this really applies to those of you in the room, but hello to everybody elsewhere. We would like to take your picture. We are planning some brand new name tags for 2016 that will feature the photograph of the face of the person, so that when you're not here, we can practice and learn your name and thus be more comfortable with each other as a community. So we have a wonderful photographer, Don Urwitz, who is here. And the way it's set up in the community room is that before you can get a plate and get some food,
Wow.
we're going to capture your image.
And you take on Sing for Your Supper.
Obviously, this is not mandatory, but we would really appreciate it. And we promise you a shiny new name tag in return. Thank
I
you.
would like everybody to notice what Mary Scott is wearing. We haven't seen these before, and you too can get one, as I understand.
Red or white, holiday store special, $15 or $5. You don't have to decide.
So thank you very much. Thank you, everyone. Take your practice home, and meanwhile, have your picture taken and join us for lunch. Thank you, Paolo.